Hello and welcome back to the Sacred Light Collective podcast. You are with Ali. Again, I am delighted to have you here for another episode. I have been in deep reflection again, so this feels like an episode where it'll be a bit of a soul musing. There's nothing like having a birthday to kind of mark where you are in life, in your journey. And for me, it has always brought up really interesting reflections, mirroring back a lot of places within. You can already hear my voice starting to to struggle as I step into sharing this with you. I'm going to keep going though because this is really powerful and important for me. And you might notice as you listen to my episodes, if you're a regular listener, that often happens whenever I'm diving into something that is a little more on the personal side for me, or opportunity for me to step into my truth, to speak my truth a little more deeply. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the Sacred Light Collective. So I do have quite an interesting connection to my birthday, and it's funny how my mind and my ego would like to make more of that particular day of the year than probably really needs to be. But I've been on quite the healing journey, not just for myself, but with my relationship to my birthday over the last 5 years. And this year is the first time where I feel completely neutral about the time of year, the experience, the need, the desire to either make it a marked occasion, or to, in fact, let it slip by without any celebration whatsoever. And there's been quite a polarity around that. And I think there's something quite beautiful about realizing this middle space and that space of neutrality with something like this. And you might even feel like you can connect to something in your life where it brings about a strong emotion. It might bring about a feeling of hitting a high or a low depending on where you are. And that's something that birthdays have always felt like for me. There's that tendency to be behind the scenes and to hide and to not want to be seen, and feel like that becomes challenging on a birthday. And then in my journey and my struggle to really finding myself and reconnecting with my true self, my authentic self, and the desire to be seen and heard, that I went completely the other way. And it's interesting to watch how the mind will make something out of nothing sometimes, and how it used to become a bit of a checklist in my mind about who I would hear from, or who would think of me, who would do what, and then matching to what I did for them. It became like a real scorecard, and it just felt really yuck, to be honest. It felt really yuck. And I didn't really enjoy the day all the time. And I'd learnt to sort of try to get through it as quickly as possible. And yeah, I guess I just didn't really have a connection to the celebration of the day. And I feel, as I sat with this occasion, this time, this year, something really struck me sitting in this space of neutrality, and was a deep connection to the earth and to Gaia, and recognizing the blessing and the celebration of what the day really meant. Me being born, my spirit being born in the human form, and the connection to the earth and all that the earth and Gaia has given me, and given all of us, really, because our bodies are made of the earth. And so I recognized this deeper appreciation for the significance of the day and what that day meant to me. And interestingly, what came to my mind was freedom. It was this feeling of freedom that my spirit had in this human form and this physical journey and experience was freedom. And it was amazing when I tapped into that frequency of freedom, joy, love, and just blessings, just pure blessings, a celebration of gratitude and joy, at how differently I felt and how differently I connected to what I needed and what I desired, and how different that was to what my mind, my ego wanted to make of the day. I didn't need to be outwardly celebrating in a big fancy way. I didn't even need to do anything particularly special. It was more having these moments of just pure joy in the celebration of my experience, of where I am, of who I am, and celebrating the journey and how far that I've come. It's so easy to also reflect on how far we have to go, or on the things that we still feel we need to do, to achieve, to be, to heal, to release, that it's easy to forget to actually look at what you've achieved and how far you've come and where your state of being is and how differently that can feel. And I decided to record my reflections on this because my mind was pulling me and pushing me back and forth from my heart, because my heart knew that this was exactly where I needed to be, that I was in the seat of love in my heart, in my body, alignment of my soul, my spirit to body. But my mind kept wanting to make something out of it, to make something of me missing out of something, or not being enough to others, or wanting to test to see who would do something for me, who would be there for me, who would reach out. And I didn't want to be in the energy of that. I wanted to be in this state of freedom, in just these blessings of joy and love for who I am and where I am and where I'm going. And being able to recognize that I don't have to hide behind anything anymore. I don't have to hide who I am. I also don't have to push to show people who I am. That I can really just be centered and anchored in my own state of being and be at peace with that. Even as I'm speaking into this now, I'm recognizing the power in just being with that. The power of not needing to be seen or heard, to prove myself, to justify myself, to necessarily be anything to anyone else but myself. It's okay if I don't want to celebrate my birthday. It's okay if I don't want to post on social media. It's okay that I don't need to tell my friends that it's my birthday. It doesn't make me any less or greater. It doesn't make my friends any less or greater, the friendships any less or greater. It doesn't define who I am. It doesn't mean anything about who I am or my experience. It is just a personal moment of understanding really what is true for me, really what is aligned for me, and being able to just be unapologetically, authentically myself. Now I'm using my birthday as the experience here, but I would invite you to think about where maybe your mind, your ego is making meaning out of a situation or an experience, a state of being for you. I see so many people when I'm doing one-on-one sessions where there's a desire to be seen and heard. They feel they're not being seen and heard. And it can lead us to chase, to want to be seen and heard, to the point where we almost jump up and down so much, like a child having a tantrum, a toddler having a tantrum, really just wanting to be seen and heard, to be seen and heard in their expression. That sometimes we end up dropping into a state of being that isn't actually aligned for us and isn't actually true for us. But we get pushed and triggered and expanded into chasing something that doesn't actually mean what our heart wants it to mean. It is more what our mind wants it to mean. And it's tiring. Right in this moment when I feel into the energy of that, the pushing, the striving to be seen and to be heard, it is exhausting. I almost feel the energy of my whole being wanting to shut down when I feel into that. It's so exhausting. And that's the beauty of being in this space of neutrality, this space of being in alignment in your heart, your truth. That is where the freedom is, the peace is. Not chasing, pushing, tantruming, stepping back, hiding, procrastinating. It just simply is. And the irony is, my dear friends, that this is actually really simple. It is so simple. But our mind continually complicates, overcomplicates, creates the stories, the meaning, taps into subconscious collection of memories. But remember 10 years ago when this happened. Remember 2 weeks ago when this happened. That might happen again. That could be like what's happening now. There's no room for growth or expansion here in that place. No room for freedom or peace. So my reflection of my birthday this year is just how much I have stripped away, the layers that I have allowed to crumble, the stories that I have allowed to be released, to come into simply connection of my heart and the knowing of who I am, the knowing that I have the power and the courage to speak, and I do have the strength to speak. And I will speak when that feels right for me. But I also have the courage and the strength to stay silent when it feels right to be silent for me. I allow my heart and my soul to guide me as to when it is time to speak up and step out, and when it is time to hold steady, to simply be in a state of my being. That is where the freedom and the peace, the joy and the love is found. The freedom because you're doing only what you desire to do from your heart, not from a place of fear. It's from a place of love, the love that you are in your heart. So I'm sharing with you the honoring of myself and my journey in this beautiful space of neutrality and freedom, love and peace. And I would invite you to feel the frequency of this simple state of being as I'm sharing that from my heart to yours, sending that across the time, the space, the quantum elements to you. Feeling in your heart with me now. Maerega kushenari kutira maya senari atata. Aro navigiera ishunano etatira maya senna. Nairo maya sakiera ushuno eraktiela etushuno minaya. Airo minaya shayen nairo katai. Feeling the heart open and expand. Feeling some of those layers, the illusion, the fear, dissipating, allowing you to connect to the love that is within your heart, the love that you are. Ano shale monare kitisineria katushuno. Nairo himayara kitushuno itari minaya. Nairo inna shumenaya taya. My desire for you, my dear friends of the Sacred Light Collective, is to feel into the freedom that you have to be yourself, the freedom to live from your heart, your soul, your higher self, to live without judgment and expectation, to live in the clarity of divine love. I honor the light, the love, the divinity within you. as I honor the light, the love, the divinity within me. We are all one. Thank you for joining me as I shared my reflections, my soul musings, and I hope that this has opened for you the capacity to take a higher perspective around a trigger, a situation, or an experience where you have been making more meaning through your mind and your ego than your heart really desires for you, where you've been allowing that freedom to be taken away, calling back the power that you hold in knowing the freedom exists within you, the peace exists within you, love exists within you. It has never been anywhere else. Peel away the layers, allow yourself to arrive into the space of neutrality that is the divinity within you. I am holding you in my heart, in peace, in love, in freedom of divine expression. Namaste.